looking around. Is there somebody here from Bold Republic? Yeah, there you are. That's awesome. So Bold Republic Brewing Company. Listen, they are very special. One thing that I talk about a whole lot is how great the Texas economy is, how we rank #1 for the most jobs, the fastest growing economy, best state for doing business. And here's the deal. When I talk about that, most people think I'm talking about large businesses. The reality is more than 95% of all businesses in Texas are small businesses. And Bold Republic is one of those small businesses that we cherish right here in the great state of Texas. But it's more than just cherishing them. It's supporting our small local businesses. That's why we passed a lot of laws this session that cut through all the red tape they have to go through, that lower the cost of doing business so they can put more money into their own pockets. And also, we'll get to your property tax bill you got to pay, but small businesses have to pay a property tax, a personal property tax on their equipment. Things like their tables, their chairs, their bar, their grill. They got to pay a tax on that. When I became governor, there was a $500 exemption on that property tax. Candidly, that would pay for like 2 chairs, maybe 1 table or something like that. Maybe. I want you to know that this session we passed, and last Tuesday you supported in favor of increasing that all the way to $125,000. Helping our small businesses put more money in your pocket, hire more people, grow your business. Yeah. We want to see our small businesses grow even more and even better. No state does it better than the state of Texas. That's right. But listen, we know that when it comes to affordability, the issue affects more than just our businesses. It affects the pocketbooks of every Texan. And so our keen focus right now is to address your affordability challenges, knowing full well that one of the biggest affordability challenges you have is housing, and one of the biggest causes of affordability for your housing are your property taxes. So I will tell you this. Every year that I've been governor, we have passed laws to reduce your property taxes in Texas. And every single time after that, we find that your local taxing jurisdictions go behind our back and increase your property taxes even more. So listen, y'all have heard that definition of insanity, right? So insanity is repeating doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. I am tired of the insanity that has been taking place with regard to your property taxes. Right. Let me explain what we did most recently and what you voted on last Tuesday, but tell you where we got to go from there. What you voted on last Tuesday was to put in our Constitution what we passed in the session, and that is to increase your property tax exemption. If you have a homestead, your property tax exemption now goes up to $140,000. If you're a senior, which I don't see any seniors here, but if you were, if you're a senior, it goes up to $200,000. Well, as you'll soon find out, that's what we call a good start. But listen, so that's a good start, but that will all be eroded by your local property taxes if we don't implement the 5 solutions I bring to you today. First, we got to understand something that not everybody does understand. The state of Texas does not impose a property tax. It's not like we can go pass a law and say we're going to cut this tax, because we as a state don't impose one. All property taxes are imposed at the local level. So we have to address the issue at the local level. And there's only one reason ever for your property taxes to go up, and that's because those who are spending your money spend more of your money. Yeah. We have to put an end to the out of control spending that's taking place at local jurisdictions across the entire state of Texas. I want you to know I'm not asking for anything that the state does not already comply with. The state has 4 constitutional limits that contain our spending, that limit our spending. We cannot spend more than the population growth plus inflation. The same standard should apply to every property taxing authority in the state of Texas. Right now, there are some property taxing authorities that run deficits, and they issue property tax increases to pay off those deficits. The state of Texas has to balance our budget. Every property taxing jurisdiction in the state of Texas must balance their own budget also. Item number 2, and that is, there are some property taxes that you wind up seeing on your bill you had even no idea that it was coming. And that's because a vote is not required on every property tax increase that's imposed on you. That has to change. There should only be a property tax increase if it is voted on by the public and gets 2/3 of the public voting in favor of it. Number 3, you should have the own power to cut your own taxes. What I'm offering up as a reform is a rate rollback if you get 15% of the residents in your area to petition for a rate rollback. That will be on the ballot, and you'll be able to cut your own property taxes based upon your own vote in your own community. Next are your skyrocketing appraisals. I've talked to some people that when they get their appraisal bill, their hand is quivering, it's shaking, because they're afraid of what it's going to look like. They're afraid of how much they're going to have to pay. Some are afraid they're going to have to move out of their house because the appraisal is going up so much, they're not going to be able to afford to stay in it. I say that changes, and here's the way we change it. For one, you should not have your appraisal occur so often. Your appraisal should occur only once every 5 years. Second, the way Texas law works right now, they are allowed to increase your appraisal by up to 10% a year. And that's one reason why you see it go sky high. That has to change, and I say we lower that 10% to no more than 3% a year. And the last thing is this, and that is, if you look at your property tax bill, you're going to find on that property tax bill, the largest part of that bill, maybe 2/3 of it, is going to be your local school district property tax bill. And that just keeps going up and up and up. Here's what I say. And just like you had the ability to pass constitutional amendments this last time, you deserve a vote on another constitutional amendment, and that is to pay 0 on your school district property taxes. Abolish the school district property tax in Texas forever. So listen, the logical question, if that happens, what's going to fund the school? The schools are going to be funded the same way they are after these homestead exemptions passed this past year. The state of Texas is going to be the ones responsible for fully funding our schools. And know this, as we did it this session, I signed the largest school funding award ever in the history of our state, more than $8 billion for our schools, and the largest teacher pay raise ever, more than $4 billion to increase teacher pay. The last thing I'll tell you is this, and that is, as Hillary was making reference to, it was important that Texas have education freedom. And know this, on education freedom, empowering parents is just one element of that. There's so much more to it. What we did in this past session, we did more than just provide parents the ability to choose the school best for their child. We put Texas on a pathway to another #1 ranking. Texas must become #1 in America in educating our children. Yeah. School choice did that, the funding increase did that, the teacher pay raise did that, as well as curriculum reform. Yes. We eliminated indoctrinating our kids in the classroom. We banned DEI in all of our public schools across the state of Texas. And I signed a law saying no boys and girls sports in the state of Texas. And just like I told everybody 2 years ago, there's an easy way or a hard way to do this. The easy way is to pass these 5 property tax reforms and let you truly own your home. If that does not happen, I will go to the ballot box and make sure we elect representatives for you and your fellow Texans to make sure we slash your property taxes for good in the state of Texas. Someone who is all in on this effort, who will be joining my campaign efforts to get this done, is Genevieve Collins, who's with us here today.
Thank you, Governor. How exciting. How exciting for Texas. How exciting that Texans are finally going to get real relief, real reform. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Genevieve Collins. I run Americans for Prosperity. It is the largest policy and grassroots organization in the state of Texas. We have like all of you, we believe that Texas has to have property rights and low taxes. That's who we are. That is what Governor Abbott has ensured, has laid out a plan to achieve. But what our team also knows is that property taxes only go one way. Right now, they're only going up. And it is time to turn that thing upside down. It is time to make sure property taxes go down. Our team has knocked on over 40,000 doors since April. Now, many of you in Bell County may know Jeffrey Ware. He has been knocking on your door. Jeffrey Ware over there, he's been knocking on your door, and we've had teams all across the state, El Paso, Texarkana, Brownsville, San Antonio, Dallas, Houston, and everywhere in between. We want to actually listen and understand what is really affecting Texans. What Americans for Prosperity does is listen to citizens and gives them the tools to fight back and remove barriers in their lives. What we have found out categorically is absolutely what Governor Abbott said. Property taxes and the constant increase in property taxes are making people's lives more difficult and creating extreme affordability barriers. We are Texans. We take care of each other. And this is a crusade to make sure that property taxes finally go down in the state of Texas, and those that need to be held accountable are. Let me give you an example of what Governor Abbott was sharing when it comes to how many people vote. He mentioned last week we had a big bond election. We had big votes. Y'all know a little bit about bonds in Bell County. I think that a bunch of them were defeated for the first time. But let me give you an example. Bonds are a property tax increase, period, end of story. In Van Alstyne, Texas, that's just north of Dallas, this is a town of 7,200 people. 7,200 people. Last week, 80 people voted in their election. 8-0. 8-0. 1.1% of the electorate voted on a $550 million bond. Now, the good people in Van Alstyne, 43 of them voted against it, and 37 voted for it, so the bond ultimately did not pass. But the question and the principle arises, should 1% of an electorate have 100% authority to raise taxes on their citizens? This is the principle that we are fighting for. These reforms will structurally change how you keep money back in your hard-earned wallet, and that you have more control over your own properties. These reforms are ultimately going to make sure Texas stays free, that there's more opportunity and more prosperity in people's wallets. We cannot wait to champion these reforms alongside you and these phenomenal legislators, because ultimately we're all fighting for the same thing, to make sure that freedom is bigger in Texas. Yeah.
I want to take care of a couple of pieces of business. One, I'm making a promise, a commitment, and I'm going to put my name on it in front of you all right now to work on getting these 5 plans passed. Second, I'm going to stick around and take a photo with everyone who wants a photo. But while you're kind of brushing your hair and getting ready, I want to take just a few minutes and give the press an opportunity to ask a question or two. Good. All right. There you go.
Governor, we want to thank you for coming today, and we know what you stand for. What can we do differently as the people? What can we do to support you to make a difference in the property tax? In voting, 80 people voting on an $800 billion or whatever it was. That's crazy. What can we do to help?
One thing, everyone needs to say, support Abbott's 5-point plan to slash property taxes in Texas.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. Ellen, thank you for being out here. Good to see you again. Thanks for reminding me that you're on the ballot.